Speaking of processes that are not taking many years, that would be the TikTok sale. I don't know what this is at this point, but the latest developments on TikTok and their agreement with Oracle, suggestions that the Trump administration is expected to rule on whether they are happy with the terms and conditions in the next 24 hours, just as we are coming here. Headlines from the New York Times saying that Bytedance, so TikTok's Chinese owner, has accepted what the Trump administration wanted to be changed as part of Oracle's stake in TikTok's U.S. operations, such that it would get approval. And this all, of course, then coming after headlines today that TikTok's U.S. operations might get an IPO at some point within the next year. Dan, I don't even know if this story is real anymore, and I sort of wonder how much it even matters at this point, because it's clearly just kind of a political, I like Larry Ellison, he can get a stake in this company, and then we'll figure out what to do with it later.
Well, exactly right. That's what I wrote earlier this week, that, regardless of what the stake ends up being, this is a play for political capital for Oracle and for Larry Ellison. Of course, the only other real argument in favor that I've heard is it sort of makes Oracle more competitive in the eyes of, the cloud race, and it sort of beefs it up and says, look, we can run this popular social app. Fine. I don't really fully buy that. But point being, let's give a caveat that none of the reports here are definitive, and there are many, many conflicting reports today. First of all, earlier today, there were reports earlier that Oracle would get just a 20% stake. And that sort of seemed to fall in line with what we had heard earlier in the week, which is that it's just a partnership, really, a glorified partnership. Then there were reports that actually Oracle, Walmart, which, by the way, it looks like is still going to be involved in some form or another, and the rest of TikTok's U.S. investors combined would end up with a majority stake of the company. And that would basically, then you could say sell. You were joking. Should we call it, TikTok sells? But it doesn't look that way to me. It doesn't look like it's likely to be a majority stake. Either way, all that really matters here, and all the reports agree on this, it doesn't look like Oracle is going to get the algorithm. That was the crown jewel here. That was the Indiana Jones, item that was really coveted. And according to many analysts, that's really why Microsoft kind of backed out when they realized, well, wait a minute, if we can't get access to the thing that gives us the data, that sweet, sweet, sexy user data that allows us to blast all these people and put them on marketing lists and try to push our other products to them, then what's the point? Microsoft wanted an outright acquisition or nothing. And by the way, it's funny because Trump's original rhetoric was going to be outright acquisition. That's clearly not what's happening here. But let's wait and see. And the latest report mentions that Steve Mnuchin sent a new requirement, and that's going to be setting up a security council that is led by a U.S. citizen. I mean, there's a lot of little asterisks coming out here. So it's going to be a while before we have real clarity on exactly what Oracle and Walmart got and received in this partnership.
And just a final little Easter egg for you in here, folks. The New York Times also reporting that among folks that had been contacted or been in discussions with TikTok to maybe be their next CEO, those include former Instagram CEO Kevin Systrom. Because why not? Let's just throw another name into the mix in all this. And this is, so in that story we referenced earlier in the segment about, the Times, with Bytedance approving, or the Trump administration approving, what Bytedance wanted. Then the last three paragraphs about Kevin Systrom. So we're now at the stage where Kevin Systrom getting the job as CEO of TikTok is the kicker to a story that just winds and wends its way everywhere, it seems, through corporate America.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.